Now, I have said on this channel multiple times that you can instantly establish your authority in an area by writing a book, but not if you playing in your audience's face. Now, hold on. I'm supposed to be the one saying all the messy stuff out loud in these videos. Exhibit A, Dr. Shawn Best, who has recently come into prominence by being a contestant on the show Married at First Sight, season 20. And recently, before the show has even completed its run, he announced a forthcoming book he's about to publish, Frames of Love: How to Stop Dating Through Old Wounds and Start Communicating for the Love You Actually Want. Dr. Shawn, come to the front, honey. Baby, listen. The pipeline from reality show contestant to relationship expert is not pipelining. So you just gonna eat down and not leave me none? As a ghostwriter, manuscript editor, and book writing coach since 2018, I can immediately tell that there are two major reasons Dr. Shawn's book is probably not going to sell, and it's not going to set him up as the relationship expert that I think he's trying to position himself to be. I'm going to tell you why. Now, you don't have to be a fan of the show, a hater of the show, or even a watcher of the show to appreciate and learn something from this video, because the principles I'm about to break down apply to anyone who's looking to establish their authority and become seen as a thought leader in a particular area. And I'll share the two types of books that I think he should write that would gain favor with the audience and help him establish his authority in one of two areas. So get ready to take notes, because if you are a subject matter expert who wants to write a book, observing Shawn's mistakes plus the recommendations I'm going to give is going to help you write and launch your thought leadership book the right way. I'm Denise Renee, your business book bestie. I help executives and entrepreneurs like you write books that tell your story, shares your frameworks, and grows your brand. These are some of the clients I've worked with as a ghostwriter, editor, or writing coach. Check out testimonials and learn how I can help you at writingwithdeniserenee.com. Hey, business book besties. Yeah, what up? I've placed timestamps down below and in the description box to help you navigate this video, along with links to other videos and helpful blog posts on my website that complements what we're talking about today. Now, from time to time, my intrusive thoughts might butt in. Oh, now you ready for me? Look, Obama had his anger translator, and sometimes Denise Renee has me, and a black girl from the Bronx who stay ready, but I guess gets tossed to the side sometimes. We'll see how much she uses me in this video. I'm sorry, y'all. She a little Chick-fil-A spicy sandwich today. Okay. Sorry. I got Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich on the brain. But if we are all Gucci, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, if you want me to notify you directly when I publish new videos, podcast episodes, and blog articles about writing and self-publishing thought leadership books, go to writingwithdeniserenee.com, scroll to the bottom, and enter your email address. Now, you'll want to receive my weekly newsletter, because how often I post on this channel has changed. And trust me, if I'm not posting long form content here, I'm posting it someplace else. So don't miss out. Go to writingwithdeniserenee.com, scroll to the bottom, enter your email address, and I'll meet you in your inbox next Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so housekeeping over. Let's get into the first reason why Dr. Shawn's book is not going to position him as a thought leader in the relationship space is because he is too polarizing of a character at the very least, and at worst, he's not liked. And I say as a character because when it comes to unscripted TV shows, you are playing a version of yourself that is edited. So what we see on camera is obviously not the totality of who these people are in real life. There are producers and editors in the editing bay making sure that they produce a specific narrative. Now, each person gives their own performance and they give the cameras material to work with. So, based on that, is what the producers and editors whittle down the story and give us their own framework that they want us to see each of these characters in. So, I want to be really clear. I'm not trying to attack Dr. Shawn's personal character. I don't know this man. Okay. I only see what they've been showing us on camera and I don't like it. Okay. So I think it's also fair that I share my particular bias with you. I live on the side of the internet that is pro Black women and is for any type of positive representation that we can get in media. And baby, media be playing in our faces. Okay. And whenever that representation does not make us look good, I'm definitely on the side of the internet that will call out that behavior. So if you're not watching the show and you're not paying attention to discourse online, there has been a lot of discussion about this one particular relationship between Nikki and Shawn on this season. And depending on what side of the internet you're on, you may think that Nikki is being cold and calculated and being very mean to Shawn. Now, I am on the side of the internet that said production played in Homegirl's face, did not give her what she wanted, and very much purposefully matched her with Shawn so that certain sparks would fly. They just cast it for entertainment, not for love, and certainly not a long lasting marriage. Based on the product that the producers have put up on the screen for us, I don't believe for 1 second that they were trying to create a love story here. They're trying to create drama. And they did it. So the premise of the show is that the women tell the matchmakers and experts specific traits that they're looking for in a husband. And they meet these husbands literally at the altar and then they enter this experimental marriage. Amongst her requirements, Nikki specifically asked for a taller man, and she was very specific in asking for a man who made at least $200,000 a year up to 250 a year because she herself is a very successful and high earning woman and she knows as a high earning woman and as a high earning black woman whenever a man does not match or exceed her economic level there's always competition there's always tension the man always tries to humble her and indeed, we got an episode where they visit each other's homes. Shawn lives in this, very builder basic apartment kind of looking place, and Nikki has a home, and it's beautiful. And in his confessional, Shawn calls her bougie. And I'm like, why are you calling her bougie? Because you should be bougie too. As an educator working in higher education, you have a doctorate degree, you are positioned to be in bougie spaces as well, even if you don't make what she makes, because obviously he does not make what she makes. Yo, these producers is playing in my girl Nikki's face. I don't even think he comes even close to making what she asked for. And it shows up in some of his actions. And beyond that, in my opinion, it seems to me like production gave her someone who might not prefer her. Execrable, egregious, opprobrious. What? You've been doing my job all throughout this video. I thought I'd come through with some of those expensive words you learned at Bates and do your job. How you like me now? Okay. Like I said, y'all, she a little spicy today. But nevertheless, the kicker for me is that shortly after the show began airing, a woman came on TikTok and allegedly said that she met him before and briefly dated him. And to her, she did not get the impression that he liked or preferred women. But he wanted to go on a reality show. And the premise of that particular show is couples who are long distance dating who never met. So she said she was going to, be down with it and go along with it. And of course, this is all alleged. But when people come out with stories like this, it then begins to make you look at people differently. That just makes him seem to me like you're just scheming. That seemed like a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the scheming to get on reality TV so that you can hopefully blow up your Instagram, blow up your TikTok, grow followers, and maybe pivot away from the type of job that you're doing into something else because he landed himself obviously on a reality show. So he willing to fake the fun just to be on TV, huh? I see you. And it just makes him feel like he's out to try to prove something and it's not landing. By his own admission, Dr. Shawn has said on the show he was truly repressed in his youth because of his religious upbringing, had intercourse for the first time when he was 21, and it so traumatized him basically that he never tried again until he was 29. And now he's a man in his 40s. Now, I don't fault him for his upbringing. And I can definitely relate to growing up in church and having hellfire and brimstone messages about, not having intercourse before marriage and the whole nine yards, and feeling really, traumatized by that, and also lied to when that was preached from the pulpit, but people was doing other things while still being in ministry. Child, I can relate. Okay. I can definitely relate to having church hurt and church trauma. But then I'm curious about how have you worked through those things? Because I'm not so sure that I'm seeing that the character on the screen is displaying much maturity from those experiences. A part of the promise that comes through the title of his book is start communicating. It's assuming that he's going to show us how to have good communication skills. Well, baby, I'm where are the good communication skills? Okay. Because I don't see it on the screen. Nikki always communicates very clearly with him. She tells him where she is at the time, what's going on. She tries to communicate what her needs are and concerns are. And very often he overtalks her, gaslights her, especially when she says, hey, well, you said X, Y, and Z. And he goes, no, I never said that. And you're like, wait, what? And production a couple of times had to run it back. Okay. And then he came out with this big old apology a few days ago. Child, it's a mess. And in that apology, he never even apologized to Nikki. Like, who gives an apology and doesn't name the person you are apologizing to? You're making this big public grand gesture, but for why? For your book? Child, please. I'm tired, right? A lot of times in the conversation, he frames himself as the victim. Like I said, he's argumentative, gaslighting. And in one particular scene, he even allowed the other cast members to verbally gang up on Nikki. And I'm like, wait, I thought you're supposed to be a husband. Isn't a husband supposed to be protective? So that means if people are piling on, you're supposed to at least step in and say, hey, 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 right? He left her out on the spit to roast, baby. They roasted her and he did nothing. And a point of just absolute, baby, I can't defend you. He said out his mouth that he does not believe in soap and water and full on showers, child. Wait, what? And we saw him take a little, I can't even call it a wash up. He just took a rag, swiped around his neck, and then went to bed. I was like, she was better than me because I'm like, you cannot get in my bed with all the funk of the day, and all you did was chat. And the last but not least, most not cool thing that has happened is that throughout the entire season, he has been pressuring her to have intercourse with him. And she keeps saying, I am not there yet. Let's take things slow. We are building towards something. If I'm going to do that, I would prefer to do it towards the end of this experience. And women know the moment that you give up the coup de cat a little too early in a relationship, you lose control. You lose leverage because now you're building a physical connection that feels emotional for women, but a real, true emotional groundwork has not been laid. One of the other couples on this season had intercourse very early, and it kind of traumatized the woman, and she has not had intercourse with her partner since. It was too early. And I don't even think that she had language to kind of tell him, hey, this was too soon. I was not ready for that. So Dr. Shawn is not looking very good at all because why are you constantly pressuring her and asking her for intercourse and or actions that lead towards intercourse when she has said repeatedly, I'm not there with you yet? What is that called when someone keeps trying to force another person to perform intimacy acts against their will and without their consent? That type of behavior truly makes me wonder, have you truly healed from these old wounds that you speak of? Now, other commentators have been putting forth their speculations that low key I kind of agree with, but they're not facts. Girl, what they speculating? Inquiring minds want to know. Girl, listen, I'm not a drama channel and I'm not trying to speculate on where somebody may be in their life and in their personal journey. I am a book writing channel. So, given that Dr. Shawn has been displaying very polarizing, very problematic, very unlikable behavior on camera to his wife in this experience, let me ask you the question. Would you buy a book about relationships from this person? Would you listen to any advice that he's offering about relationships? Has he been acting like a loving, caring, listening, effectively communicating husband on the show? Does he sound like someone who has been healed from his old wounds, who is comfortable in their own skin and fully living out their truth? You buying that book? In my best Randy Jackson voice, it's a hell nah for me, dogs. Now, here is reason number two why I don't think this book is going to set Dr. Shawn up for a career as a relationship expert or relationship influencer. He is trying to set up expertise or influence in a brand new field for him that he has no demonstrated experience in. And the demonstrated experience that we're seeing on the screen is questionable. Now, to put respect on Dr. Shawn Best, the person's name and accomplishments, according to Google, he has a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science from the University of Vermont. Now, as someone who went to a New England liberal arts school, a lot of these schools are very solid educational institutions. Now, he has a Master of Arts in Higher Education Administration from NYU, New York University. Hey, all right. Now, if I had wanted to stay in state for school and in city for school, I would have definitely applied to and gone to NYU. I had a shoe in for Columbia University because I was at a program in high school that gave us a pathway into Columbia. I could have gone. I was like, I did not like the pretentiousness of those students. I did not like a lot of things. Plus, it was too close to home. So I had to go to Maine. All right. A good little 5.5 hour drive away. Amen. Amen. And then also, he has an educational doctorate in organizational leadership from Northeastern University. So the man is very well educated. He got into and completed his degrees. Dr. Cheyenne. There you go again, being shady without me. What's up with that? Right? So he carved out a career for himself in organizational leadership. I believe one of his most recent roles was in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, we all know what happened to all diversity, equity, and inclusion roles in the last year and a half. So I can understand why he may want to pivot into something else. So it looks like his doctorate is verifiable. He didn't just put doctor in his name and trademark it. So, given his professional background, this book just seems to come out of nowhere. And if he's trying to build a fan base, grow his followers off of the strength of this TV show, it's not working. Now, I'm not on TikTok, but Google said that he doesn't have a verifiable TikTok account. He does have an Instagram account. And it doesn't seem like he's gotten a whole lot of followers from being on the show because his actions have been very polarizing and he's not being discussed in a positive light. So, him announcing this book is delusional, blissfully optimistic in light of all the incongruencies, to put it nicely. One appearance on a dating show where you are being perceived negatively is not going to make you an expert on relationships. It doesn't look like you've even mastered the one relationship that we can see you having publicly. Why would the general public believe anything that you say in your book? Now, I get it. There is a large audience for relationship advice. As a book writing coach, I have helped a relationship coach become an author. But audiences, followers on social media, book readers, they want authenticity. In this book with my client, the very first thing that we did in that book is establish his experiences and expertise that proves he has the authority to talk about what he's talking about in this book. I wonder what the beginning of Dr. Shawn's book is going to say. I was a reality show contestant. You saw me on MFers, the acronym for Married at First Sight. Readers are going to want to see that you've been in a successful relationship. You've been married for 10, 15, 20 years. Or they want to see that their relationship gurus and coaches have helped other people have successful relationships. Neither of these things are true for Dr. Shawn as far as we can see. So this is a gross misalignment of his brand and quite possibly a waste of time to write this book. So here is the solution that I would prescribe to Dr. Shawn. The two different types of books that he could write if he really wants to be successful and make a pivot in his career into something new. If Dr. Shawn came to me, Denise Renee, your business book bestie, and said, "Hey, I want to make a career pivot," and he wanted to capitalize on the attention that he's currently getting by writing a book, the first thing I'd advise him to do is to book a coaching intensive with me. In my book writing coaching intensive, we would spend half a day co creating a plan for his book's content, promotion, and monetization strategy. And I'm not going to let him just leave and fly in the wind to go implement by himself. I would also give him 21 days of implementation support to make sure that he gets started successfully. If this sounds like the type of guidance that you could use to help you plan out a thought leadership book that's going to help you pivot into what's next for your career, visit writingwithdeniserenee.com/intensive to learn more and to either get started or book a discovery call with me. In the coaching intensive that I would have with Dr. Shawn, I would strongly recommend that based on the audience's reaction to him and based on his actual background, there are two books that I would recommend he write. The first book is if he wants to step into the relationship arena, don't lead with trying to give advice to people. Because based on this title, it looks like he's trying to give us advice. If anything, I believe that the book that people would actually read and engage with is a book that tells his truth, whatever that truth might be. Keep it focused on him, keep it focused on his experiences. He talked about being traumatized earlier in his life with church. What was that like? And what were the steps that you took to heal from that? Is that journey still ongoing? And it's okay if it is. Be honest about that. Are there other things that you are questioning about yourself? Be honest about that too. And it's okay. This type of book would require radical honesty, and I believe audiences will respond to that. From the title of the forthcoming book, it sounds like he's hinting at some of that, but I also know once you performed a version of yourself on TV, you're going to naturally kind of feel like a little defensive and protective, and you're going to want to present a specific image of yourself. But here's the thing, people can smell BS. They can feel when you're being authentic and when you're not. So if he commits to being authentic, telling his truth, as messy or as neat as it may be, whatever it may be authentic. Don't try to give anybody advice. Keep it focused on telling your story and maybe sharing with us some things that we maybe didn't know or maybe didn't see on the show. Because, like I said at the beginning, unscripted TV is heavily produced and heavily edited. So we may not like what we saw on screen. So show us who you really are, the totality of who you are, so that we may get an opportunity to like you as a person outside of this particular edited show. And if that's not going to work, if that's not the type of book and that's not the type of honesty that he wants to have, that's okay. I have another book that he could possibly write that would give him a lot of success and a lot of money. And that would be a book that is based on his actual education and experience. And I will give Dr. Shawn the benefit of the doubt because throughout this video, I have been calling him Dr. Shawn because I do believe whenever you take the time, the money, the effort, the rigor, and you actually earn your doctorate degree, I have no problems calling you by the degree title that you have earned. A lot of times people are excellent in their professional lives and need help in their personal lives. And that's okay. It's all of us. All right. So there's no shame there. But it would actually make sense for Dr. Shawn to tap into his actual lived experiences in leadership development because as much as businesses are turning to AI and whatnot, there's still going to be some employees left. They still need leadership development and they still need diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, they're not going to call it that. They're going to call it something else. But I'm sure I could sit with Dr. Shawn and within minutes identify one, two, three, four, maybe even five books that he could write that could help position him to be a keynote speaker at major conferences, be a consultant. He could start a consulting firm where he's giving trainings and workshops. He could start his own coaching, which I think he does coaching. I don't know like specific, like it may, he may have done coaching like within organizations that he worked with, but he could start his own coaching program as well. And writing a book is an excellent way to be a foundation for any and all of those monetization strategies. I am very good at helping my clients uncover profitable book ideas based on their experiences. Plus, I help them think through their monetization strategy. You can see examples of me coaching on camera when you visit writingwithdeniserenee.com/intensive. So let's wrap this all up with a bow. Writing a book is most certainly a fast path to establishing your expertise status, but only when that topic is in alignment with who you are and your actual lived experiences. And also, dare I say, how people perceive you. If people think you're lying or a fraud, it's just not going to work out for you the way that you think. And even if you are just new to a space, there are ways to actually write a book that helps you begin to establish credibility without faking your credentials or faking the funk, baby. In this video, I talk about Cheyenne Bryant and the type of book she could have written to establish herself as an expert without fake credentials. Click on that video now, and I'll see you on the other side.